Welcome back to Physics 3740 at the University of Utah. This is Lecture 3, Searching for the Ether. So what we've talked about so far is we just gave an overview to the concept of relativity, moving reference frames, etc. We talked about Galilean relativity, classical Galilean transforms that allow you to go back and forth between converting coordinates and velocities in two different reference frames. And sort of historically, just before Einstein developed his theory of special relativity, at the end of the 19th century, scientists had done lots of work and had studied light quite extensively, and they were fairly convinced that light was a wave, and they deduced this basically mostly from interference experiments. And we know that today as well, that we have the notion that light is a wave. We know that light behaves as a wave in certain circumstances. We also know that light behaves as a stream of individual particles called photons in other circumstances. And we'll get to that later in the course when we talk about quantum mechanics. But at that time, basically all the evidence pointed to light behaving as a wave. And so all the other waves that were known at the time, for example water waves, mechanical waves, required a medium for the wave to move through. Something had to be disturbed, something had to wave, as it were, in order for a wave to propagate. And so scientists deduced that light had to be similar, that there had to be some sort of medium through which the light traveled, through a disturbance that traveled through some medium in order for light to move, in order for it to propagate. Scientists also knew that the Earth was in orbit around the Sun, and in fact they could calculate a sort of an average orbital velocity, an average speed for the Earth as it orbited around the Sun. And this was estimated to be about 30 kilometers per second. And so if you think about it, if the Earth is in motion around the Sun, it's orbiting the Sun, it can't be at rest with respect to the ether. At least it can't be at rest all the time. And in fact, as it orbits around, and if you think about every 6 months, as the Earth is going one way and then 6 months later it's basically heading in the opposite direction on the other side of the Sun, then the speed of the ether past the Earth in a 6-month period should be modulated by 60 meters per second, 60 kilometers per second, 30 kilometers when the Earth is going one way, and then 30 kilometers the other way, in the other direction when the Earth is 6 months later and the Earth is on the other side of the Sun. So scientists believed that light was a wave, that it traveled through a medium called the ether, which they called the ether, and furthermore they believed that the Earth could not be at rest with respect to the ether, and that it was moving through the ether. They hypothesized maybe at about 30 kilometers per second, the orbital speed of the Earth. And so in order to prove the existence of the ether and determine the speed of the ether past the Earth, or the speed of the Earth through the ether, what they needed to measure was how the speed of light depends on the reference frame from which the measurements are made. And in order to do this, they devised they devised a method where basically they would time light as it traveled between two mirrors, back and forth between two mirrors, sometimes many times, and compare the time it took to bounce back and forth between two different mirrors, and in particular also how that depended on the direction.